in my organized notebook. I'm trying. Rarely, but I'm ready tonight, I think. Something's going to happen. I can tell there's lots of preparation and excitement. Yeah. Okay. Amen.
I'm going to invite everyone to try to find a seat because we have a gorgeous prelude. We're about ready to start. I know there are still some questions about the handouts, but we'll have lots of time this evening to figure all of that out. And before we have an official welcoming, Al is going to lead us or play for us, share for us, Love is a Many Splendored Thing. Thanks, Al. You started us off in a lovely sort of way. Welcome to everyone this evening. It is so fantastic to see almost a full circle, especially with the weather, which turned out to be better than we anticipated, but because it's Super Bowl Sunday. So I can't thank you all enough for sharing this part of Sunday with us. Couple of announcements. In your service sheet, On the back of the music for Catch a Shining Star, you will see some information about our prayer vigil for peace. It will be Friday evening, February the 24th, in this space right here, from 5:30 to 6:30. Many of you were with us last March when we had the vigil, which was outside. February's still a little iffy to be outside, so we decided to go ahead and bring it inside. Will be very similar to what we did last year, but this is the day that the Russians invaded Ukraine, and we felt that we needed to acknowledge and offer our prayerful energy to the Ukrainians and all of those individuals who have helped take care of them. If you can't come for the full hour, I hope that you will share whatever time you can. Just come, we'll have things set up, and be with us and share that prayerful energy with us. This week, we lost a star friend, John Bullard, our friend John Bullard, and some of us knew him when he taught at Wofford, and some of us knew him when he offered Bible studies at the Church of the Advent. Many of us met him there. Some of us knew him when he substituted as an organist at various churches in Spartanburg, and some of us knew him here at Central, or some of us knew him in all of those capacities. But most all of us knew him through his music. And we at Star, even though you may not have met him, we knew him through his generosity because he donated this beautiful keyboard. It's lovely, it's beautiful, and however we knew him as a divine spirit that was filled with curiosity and wisdom, theology, music, compassion, and all of that was wrapped with a wonderful sense of humor. In honor and tribute to John, David and Andy and I met this week before he left this world, and we decided we really wanted to do something on behalf of Star for John. And so the three of us decided that we would go ahead and start the John Bullard Music and More Fund, which will enable us here at Star to have more guest musicians, more guest speakers, and more special events. All of this was of interest to John, who would want to share more with all of us, and soon we'll have more details. But in the meantime, we want to share a special appreciation with not only John's friend, but with our good friend, Peter Moore. We are very grateful to Peter for keeping John connected to us and with us, Star, over these past several years. And Peter, if you'll come up. We have this pink flowering dogwood for you to plant in your yard. I know exactly where it can go. I can plant it too, sure. You dig the hole, I'll take care of the rest. How's that? Anyway, we hope that it will be in just the right spot so that every time you look at it, you will remember him and all of the special moments the two of you shared together, and we are grateful to you for bringing John Bullard to us once and for all. Amen. Can you get it? In Michelle Obama's new book, The Light We Carry, she shares a variety of thoughts and ways to interpret one's path, things that influence who we have become and who has helped us influence by their actions who we have become. And at one point in the book, she points out one of her love languages, and she refers to that one as vigor. One of her love languages is vigor. So this evening, Joan and Emily are going to help us learn more about our own love languages. But before we do that, we're going to begin our service by singing together your insert, Catch a Shining Star. Al?
Okay, might help for me to play through it one time and get it back in your ear. I know you all sing this at home all the time, every day. But just listen along one time, and then the second time we'll join in with vigor.
Creator, it is us. We invoke you, Wankantanka, from the four sacred directions of our dear Mother the Earth, to be present as we venture into the wonderful mystery of love. We are told that love is the greatest of all gifts given to us by the Holy One. We are reminded that we are able to love because we are first loved by this great mystery. Every aspect of the universe is held together with love. Love is the goodness of creation. Remember, love is the bridge between you and everything. We burn sage to allow the smoke to love our hurts and heal them. Our task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within ourselves that we have built against it. Hear the beats of the buffalo drum, and hear the loving heartbeat of the Holy One. As the flute releases her notes, know you are loved, even if you do not feel it. Love is not an emotion, it's your very existence. Facing to the east.
The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the East
welcome our brother the sun and his life-giving warmth. The warmth affirms the great love the Holy One has for us. Altogether, love is the attraction of all things towards all things. Great love and great suffering are offered to all. These are our spiritual teachers.
A quarter turn to the right, facing to the south. The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the South tell us the Holy One adores us and loves us and wants to actively spend quality time with us. It is always the first in line to hang out with us. Altogether, love is the attraction of all things towards all things. Great love and great suffering offered to all. These are our spiritual teachers. A quarter turn to the right, facing to the west.
The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the West tell us the Holy One is an active presence in our lives. Spending time with us is a gift of the goodness of creation. Altogether, love is the attraction of all things towards all things. Great love and great suffering are offered to all. These are our spiritual teachers.
A quarter turn to the right, facing to the north. The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the North tell us the Holy One gives us the sunrise and the sunset as gifts to our heart. Love altogether. Love is the attraction of all things towards all things. Great love and great suffering are offered to us all. These are our spiritual teachers. Facing to the center.
The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the center space tell us the Holy One touches us with the wind and the rain as a way to experience love. Look around this circle and see the goodness of creation in every face. Altogether, love is the attraction of all things towards all things. Great love and great suffering are offered by all. These are our spiritual teachers. Namaste. Holy words from the sacred text named Khanda Guru Kavasa. O holy great flame, grant me with love. You said the spreading love is Parabrahma. For the thing which is everywhere is only love, and love is the only thing which is like a soul within us. Love is Kumara, God. Love is Khanda, God. This simply means love is God. These are the words shared by our Hindu sisters and brothers. I could just shove you out of the way.
Holy words from the Hebrew Testament, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And you shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, and all of your soul, and with all of your might. These are holy words shared by our Jewish sisters and brothers. Holy words from the Quran, Surah 2, verse 195. And do good, indeed. Allah loves doers of good. These are holy words shared by our Muslim sisters and brothers.
Holy words from the Buddha. Without respect, love is lost. Without caring, love is boring. Without honesty, love is unhappy. Without trust, love is unstable. Love does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be true. These are holy words shared by our Buddhist sisters and brothers.
Holy words from Christian scriptures, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. These are holy words shared by our Christian sisters and brothers.
Well, now, what would any February Valentine-related program be without a little singing some love songs? Sue let me pick these songs. So if you love it, yay! If you think, Lord, have mercy, forgive me. But I found some that I just thought were meaningful, and most of y'all are younger than I am, but you'll know these songs. And the first one is from a very long-running show on Broadway. What is this, What I Did for Love from? What show? Come on. Lots of dancing. Gosh, and I thought everybody would just say it. I thought everyone would say it in chorus. A chorus rhyme, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Well, this song is not like that. All right, just think of all the loves of your life and think of what you did. Sing along. Kiss today goodbye. The sweetness and the sorrow. Wish me luck the same to you. But I can't regret what I did for love. What I did for love. Look, my eyes are dry. The gift was ours to borrow. It's as if we always knew. And I won't forget what I did for love. What I did for love. Love is never gone. As we travel on, that's what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye, and point me toward tomorrow. We did what we had to do.
Love is a many splendored thing. The word love is a huge umbrella under which many different levels of emotions and definitions exist. There's romantic love, platonic love, familial love, friendship love, cultural love, and so on. It can be very confusing, this love thing. Psychologists have concluded that feeling loved is a primary emotional need. But did you know that love has a language all of its own? It's true. There's even a book written about it. But let's be honest, there's really a lot of books written about love out there. But the book I am referring to is called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And in his book, he describes what he calls the 5 love languages and how and why they are important to relationships. Now, in his book, he is specifically referring to spouses or someone that you're in a romantic relationship with. So what exactly is a love language? For me, it's the manner in which one person gives or conveys and receives emotional love that is meaningful and appropriate for that person. But why is this important? Because it is applicable to every relationship that you have in your life, from your coworker to your mother to your spouse and or kids. And if you are not speaking your partner's or whomever's love language, then no matter how much you bestow your love upon them, it will be lost in translation and they will not receive it. But I am here to tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the single most important relationship that you will ever have is the one with the person in the mirror, yourself. Have you ever looked yourself in the mirror and in your eyes and sincerely said, "I love you. I really love you"? I'm only beginning to get there, and believe me, mirror work is not for the faint of heart. We've been conditioned and traumatized over the years of our lives to the point that we have forgotten just who we really are. We must be able to gaze into our own eyes and see that divine spark within before we'll ever truly be able to love anyone else, much less be able to allow anyone else to love us. So here's how it works. You take the love language quiz, which each of you got when you walked in the door, and you answer the questions openly and honestly. This will show you what your primary love language is. There's also an insert that was in that quiz that on one side has some different ways that you can show yourself some love. And as you learn to give yourself the love and attention that you seek from others, your actions will begin to teach others how to love you. According to the author, the number of ways to express love within a given love language is limited only by your imagination. Again, the book primarily deals with spouses and marriages, but this can be used in every area of your life. For instance, at my old job, my boss and I often butted heads, and there were many times that I would get frustrated with him and his way of managing me. Now, my primary love language is physical touch. Woo, big surprise. But it's closely followed with quality time and words of affirmation. I finally had to tell him that he would get a lot more productivity out of me if he would speak nicely and say please, and give praise more often. I also really wanted and needed him to come and spend more time with me in my counties like he did with some of my teammates. And he tried, reluctantly, but he tried. And therefore, I was much more willing to be more productive when he spoke my language. And I can tell you that words of affirmation are not his love language. It can be difficult to learn a new or different way to give and receive love. But as with learning any new language, the more you practice it, the more fluent you become in it. I will also say that your secondary love language may change over time and with your different circumstances and environments. Mine certainly has. But I have found that for me, My primary love language has never changed. And now, Miss Joan is going to come up and give you a more detailed description of each love language and some ways that you can speak that language.
Okay, may I suggest that you get out the love language assessment test that you were handed when you came in? I neglected to put very clear at all information about how to fill this thing out. So I'm going to let me say a few words before I describe exactly how to do this. Your love language is what someone gives to you that really resonates with you. Oh boy, I really feel loved when Mac takes care of me. Now, if he sent me a dozen red roses for Valentine's, the thought process that would go off in my head is, oh gosh, I wish he hadn't spent that much money on a dozen red roses. They will be dead in just a few days and I will feel terrible. We could have spent that money on something else. But this summer, when I had knee replacement surgery on June the 6th, he filled, I hate this simplistic way of saying it, but Gary Chapman refers to it as your love tank. I think that sounds stupid to me, but there's truth there. When he took care of me, the first night I got home, I couldn't find a comfortable way to lay anywhere. So all night long, I was calling, or we had a deal that I'd call him on the phone, or I would ring a bell, yelling for help. Even if he had just gotten back in bed, he had moved every pillow there was to move, and I was still miserable. And he'd get back in bed, and I didn't know what to do but call him again. And he got back out of bed. He never complained one single time. Never. For 3 months, he did that for me. Iced my knee all night long if I needed it iced. That love language is service. If I gave him a list of jobs, I used to try this and realize this doesn't work for him, a list of jobs that he could do for me. Oh boy, he does not resonate with that at all. Don't give him a to-do list. But when he could do it to serve me, it was over the top. So my love language is service. It is not a gift. Now, everybody likes a gift that you can unwrap, but there will be one of these things. The groups are words of affirmation, and I'll go over each one of these, but you know what they mean. Acts of service, that's mine. Gifts, these are things that you might wrap up. It could be gift of your presence, quality time, and physical touch. Now, we all like, to some degree, all of those, but there will be one that will jump off the page for you. Oh, I really feel so good when somebody does that to me. It does not have to be spouse. It does not have to be spouse. I did this with my teenagers at school so that they could figure out what their love language was, so that they could go home and tell their parents. Because what we tend to do is to give to someone in our love language. And so not realizing that it's not going to fill their love tank if it's not theirs. So we have to, in order to fill somebody else's love tank, you have to understand what their love language is. So what you do with that little test, and whether you take the test or not, you'll figure it out as we go over it. I think, like in group 1, you read each one of those things. It says your spouse, but it means when anybody does this for you, when you do they say to you, oh, you did a great job. I really appreciate that. Does that just make you over the top feel great? If it does, check that one. And there may be a couple of things there that resonate with you. But don't check all 5, because they could not probably, I think this would be true, resonate equally. And then when you finish filling all those out, then at the end, there's a score sheet. So group 1, you're going to transfer look back over on the front, Did you check A? Well, check it back here on the back. Did you check B? And then you can add up those scores. And if that's frustrating you and you're just not into test taking, don't worry about it. By the time we finish, you will know exactly which one resonates with you. And you go home and you email everybody you know and say, if you want to love me in my love language, this is my love language. All right. Here they are. Jinx, did you have a question? What, darn? Which one is C? Oh, D. Well, I'm going to tell you what the 5 love languages are, and you just listen. You don't have to take that test. Just listen to what they are. All right, words of affirmation. That can be words. It can be a tone. It can be a tone. You know, somebody's affirming, oh, you did a great job on that. They could have a touch of sarcasm on that. That ain't any love language. So, you know, so the tone can make a difference, but it's the words too. Verbal praise, thanks for doing something. You know, a comment that suggests you really understand what they're trying to do or say. When somebody asks you to do something rather than demand it, you know, demanding doesn't go very far, does it? Verbal appreciation, specific, I really like, and you can be real specific about this. I really like it when you offer to, you know, get up all night long and move my pillow smack, and you do it without complaining, beyond out complaining. So, all right, that's words of affirmation. That's self-explanatory. Acts of service. Doing happily, being the key word here, something you know the other person would like for you to do. You know, I have to do that just one more time. Do I have to help you make up that bed again? Yes, it has to be made every day. And it has to be made kind of according to my specifications, which is difficult. Okay. These acts of service are done from a place of love, not duty. And the example was Max cared for me all summer. Wow, over the top. All right, the third one is gifts. They can be tangible, but they don't have to be. They could be, you know, on the birthday, maybe taking somebody out for dinner, or just coming over and spending time with them as a way of celebrating their birthday. So it doesn't have to be something you unwrap, but people who wear gifts are their thing, then a gift that you unwrap is a big deal. But it doesn't have to be a diamond ring. It could be a special book that you knew they liked, or something you found at the thrift store that was just the right color and just the right thing for this person. And they don't have to be on specific occasions. These gifts are symbols of affection and thoughtfulness, and it could be a gift of self at times, either a happy time or a difficult time, a time of crisis where somebody shows up and is there for you as you're going through a difficult time. The cost is not important. It is the idea that somebody thought just of you. So that's gifts. Quality time. That makes sense, doesn't it? The key component is this. How many times do we go out now and you'll look over, I don't go into restaurants very often, but when I do occasionally, you'll look over and you'll see a whole table full of people sitting there with their cell phones, you know, or two people, and they're both sitting there on their cell phones. That is not quality time. Quality time means you are with that person. That means your body language is looking in their face and leaning forward. Tell me more. I want to hear what you're saying, and asking questions. It can be a conversation, but it often can involve sharing feelings or thoughts where there's some emotional connection, not just facts. You should be, you know, it's really nice when it can be in close proximity, but it could be on a phone at times if you have family that's not close by, or a friend that's not close by. So it could be through FaceTime or text, text is more difficult because it's really difficult to convey emotion through text. But anyway, it's a time when you're totally present, you're using body language, you're using eye contact. Contact. All right, and then the fifth one is physical touch. This can be a variety of things. Of course, it could be sex. But you know, you could have sex with somebody and there not be any physical connection there with that person at all, right? Yeah, of course. It could be hugs, it could be hand holding, it could be, somebody coming up and just touching your shoulder. When I had students who were talking in class and they just really had a hard time not doing that, Dave Heatherly taught me some really important techniques at one time. These children that just had ants in their pants and they could not sit in that thing and they could not be quiet. If you walked over them and stood next to them and just stood there for a second, and then they would realize the teacher's standing there, and then you just kind of picked up your hand and you just patted them gently on the back, didn't say a word, just kept right on talking, didn't skip a beat, you'd suddenly realize they got quiet. And then they didn't talk for at least a few minutes until you walked away and you needed to walk back. But that is physical touch. Love is a choice. Every single day, everything in our lives, we can choose love, or the opposite of that is choosing fear, and out of that fear can be anger and all kinds of things that come from that. So, get out your sheets and see if you can figure out which love language is yours, and do not stress over whether you can add up those A, B's, and C's. It does not matter. I would imagine by now you have figured out which is the way you feel most loved that people can do for you, and then share this information to everybody in your life so they will know, because you cannot necessarily guess. Now, when you have figured it out, under your chair you have, Emily is very crafty, and she did these beautiful hearts on a string. Pull that thing out and write on it your love language. And then take a picture of yourself with your love language and send a text to everybody you know that you love and they love you, and say, this is my love language, just in case you want to know. Valentine's is coming up. Or the rest of my life is coming up day by day, and I would like for you to know this about me. So put your love, did everybody kind of figure it out? I imagine you figured it out by now. Put it around your neck. And then we'll, in a minute, we're going to have you stand up and show which one you are. But we'll wait a minute to do that. Just put it around your neck for now. Okie doke. I really do. I joke about this, but I mean it. Share this with people you know, and talk to people that you care about to try to figure out what their love language is. So you don't waste money on a dozen red roses when it's not physical gifts. Thank you.
Hey, I hate to interrupt your concentration. As you're thinking of your love language, what a perfect chance to do a little Elvis song, everybody. I don't know, I'm not a huge Elvis fan, but this song is always, how things just touch you. And I love this. So y'all just chime right in and think of those you've loved in the past, those you love right now, and maybe those you hope to love in the future. And it is from that movie, amen. No, thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
What fun singing all of these songs, but it's even more fun to hear Al sing them. Thank you, Al. You chose well. You chose well and wisely. As you all know, Star is here. We gather here second and fourth Sunday of each month because of you, each one of you. One of your love languages is Star. It is Star. And for that, I am most grateful, as are each person sitting in a chair in this circle. It is your time, your talent, and your treasure. So I'm going to ask Donna and Sandy if they would just sort of circulate the offering stars. We are grateful for the generosity that you share with Star. And while we're passing those stars, Al is going to play one of my favorite selections. Al?
All right, so by now, most of you have figured out through the little quiz thing what your love language is, I hope. If you had more A's than anything else, that was the words of affirmation. If you had more B's, that was the acts of service. If you had the C's, that's gifts. The D's are quality time, and E is physical touch. So, if you've had a chance to write on your heart, whichever primary love language is yours, if yours is words of affirmation, please stand up. All right, everybody, take a look so you know how to make these people happy. Give them compliments, tell them how wonderful they are. All right, thank you. Be seated. If your love language is acts of service, please stand up. Wow, they're all on one side of the room. Okay, so these folks like it when you do nice things for them. Thank you. Be seated. If your love language is gifts, please stand up. How very interesting. All right. If your love language is quality time, please stand up. All right, so take a look at these folks. These folks want to spend some time with you. So, all right, thank you. You may be seated. And lastly, if your love language is physical touch, please stand up. Yay. So, in order to love us, please come give us lots of hugs. All right, thank you very much.
What a great evening. We've had music, we've had candlelight, we've had flowers. We're getting ready to have some of the best damn chocolate delights in Spartanburg, thanks to Sandra. The only thing, yes, the only thing we're missing is a little glass of wine, but that comes later, after the service, right? After the service. I look forward to seeing you all on the 24th, I hope. That's that Friday evening. Also on the 26th, when Andy will be sharing his reflection on divine discourse. We'll be entering Lent, but let's just enjoy prior to Lent. Sort of the next few days are Mardi Gras in a bottle, so to speak. Anyway, I leave you with these words, and then we're going to all stand up and we're going to sing Let the River Run. Love makes the world go round. Amen. Thanks to Emily, thanks to Joan, many thanks to Al and Sandra. Everybody stand up and let's sing.
Okay.